Well, hello, it's Glenn here with another of Recovery Devon's Dailies. And I want to talk today a little bit about living more naturally. And so I've come out in the garden. Now, I realise that having a garden is a great privilege, really. But almost everyone has access to some open space or opportunity to grow something, however small, however modest. Even something in a flower pot on a windowsill connects you with growth and the living world. But here I am. I'm sitting in a lovely spot. I'm sitting on some steps, and I think you can see that I'm surrounded by flowers. Now the interesting thing is that I didn't actually plant these. They just came. And having grown up in London, I'd never seen a primrose in the wild until I came to Devon. And they are extraordinarily abundant here in the hedgerows and beside the roads and just open spaces at present. It's a wonderful thing about being in Devon that there's so many wildflowers still. And there is a lot going on around us if we take care to look, if we take care to notice. We can think about going out into nature, but really that's kind of a basic mistake. It's the idea that nature is somehow separate from us and that we take ourselves out into it. But in truth, in reality, we are nature. It's inescapable. The air we breathe is the same air breathed by all other animals and plants. In fact, some of the air we breathe out is breathed in by them, and they return oxygen back to us. It's unnatural to feel separate, and yet we so often do. And in these very difficult times, maybe we might find comfort in taking care to reconnect, to find ways of bridging what might feel like a gap, but in fact is not. We may feel scared, we may feel bored, we may feel confused at present. These are all enormously understandable reactions, and we need safety, we need refuge. Well, mythologically, the garden was our first home, and maybe something in these awful difficulties we experience at present is a call home. It's time again to find refuge in the natural world and to learn to live more naturally. And so I'm sitting here today in the company of primroses. Primrose, prime rose, the first rose that comes into bloom in the course of the year. And recently I've learnt to appreciate these a lot more by watching a short video that Chris Packham put up. He's spending a lot more time in his garden too. And he points out that the flowers come in two forms, called pin and thrum. And if you look very closely, you can see that some primrose flowers have got a little pointy bit that sticks up, that's the female part, and some have got a little rounded part, which is the stamens, the male part. And if you look carefully, you can see these two different forms of flower occur across a bunch, and the purpose of this is so that the diversity enables them to be more vigorous in forming their seeds. So diversity is a great strength here. He also spoke of how they get to be where they are, and I mentioned that I'd not planted these primroses, which are all around me here on the steps that I'm sitting on. So how do they get to be here? Well, I thought that maybe the wind blew the seeds, because they are so common, delightfully common in Devon. But listening to Chris again, he describes how the seeds have got a little sugary bit on them. And in fact, ants come and pick up the seed and make off with it for a snack. And they are the gardeners. So the ants have helped plant the primrose seeds and disperse them and have them available for me here. What he doesn't mention is like many wildflowers, primroses are edible. And something I learnt once from Mary Berry is that if you take these primrose flowers that appear at this time of year and you brush them with lightly beaten egg white, and then dust them with caster sugar and leave them to dry for 24 hours, you've got crystallized primrose flowers. And you can have these as sweets, or you can use them as decoration on cakes. So that's it for me today. A small step towards emphasizing a little bit about taking the opportunities that we've got at present to think about living more naturally. And linked to this little video, there'll be a way of connecting to Chris Packham's talk on primroses and other things in his garden. There's an article on taking refuge in nature, and there's a picture of my Easter cake from last year, which has got crystallized primroses on top. So that's it from me. All good wishes to you from Recovery Devon. Take care, stay safe. Bye for now.